Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hopefully you guys are having a good week, good weekend so far. And I'm doing this I know I'm kind of doing this a little early, I guess, but we have one half of the conference finals all set, and I wanted to kind of look at it a little bit. But before we do that, if you are new to the channel, if this is your first time seeing one of my videos, and you love hockey like I do, like we all do, it would be absolutely awesome and greatly appreciated if you would hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and if you want to be notified anytime a future video is uploaded, hit the little bell too, and you can turn on all notifications, and you'd be notified anytime a future video of mine is uploaded. So tonight we're down. The Eastern Conference is down to two teams, and yes, I am wearing both of them. Not obviously trying to figure out which one to necessarily throw on. Doesn't mean necessarily it's who I think wins, but I mean obviously I've got both jerseys here, and it's just I threw Florida on in the Carolina hat. This is going to be a fantastic series. I'm good with whoever wins. This is one of these things I love. And these are two teams that haven't been here in a while. I mean, Carolina, this is their first time back in the conference finals since, 2019? I believe it was. And for Florida, my goodness. The last time they made it this far into the Final Four was my senior year in high school, the year I graduated high school, 1996. We all know what happened with the Panthers in 1996. They went all the way. They got all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals, and they ran into an absolute buzzsaw of a team in 1996 in the Colorado Avalanche. They got swept in the finals. But you know what? It was their third season, and they got there. And now here they are in the conference finals. And again, for everybody who goes and says, we need to change the playoff format because we don't want to see 50 and 60 win teams lose before the conference finals of that. Well, again, number 8 seed, technically. So, everybody who wants to scream and holler again about the playoff format because they don't want to see teams like Florida, a team like Florida who barely gets in the playoffs and they get hot, and here they are. Like I said, I'm getting very, very 2012 LA King vibe with these Florida Panthers. Now, they're going to be playing a hell of a team in the conference final in the Carolina Hurricanes. And I wanted to kind of look a little bit here and move this up a little bit here. So again, we have the Eastern Conference final here, Carolina versus Florida. I know I want to get I want to get a whole thing of magnets and stuff, which might make it a little easier. Again, more people would say I'm ripping off the hockey guy if I use magnets, but having logo magnets, might be a little bit easier for, everybody to figure out. So, they played only 3 times in the regular season. Carolina won the season series, 2 of the 3. So, Carolina won the season series 2-1. Their first game was November 9th. I swear I can talk. November 9th of 2022 in Florida. The Panthers beat Carolina 3-0 on home ice, and then the second time they played was December 30th of 2022 in Carolina. Carolina won that matchup 4-0, and then they didn't meet again until right toward the end of the season, April 13th, 2023, back in Florida. Carolina won that one 6-4. So these two, I don't know who necessarily had this particular matchup on their bingo card. They might have had Carolina. I know I did. I had Carolina making it this far. And so Carolina's there, but Florida? Whoo! I mean, we look, let's take a look, at Carolina went, and they went to, what was it? Let me see. Let me go back and see here. Of course, I have my playoff bracket right here. Everything kind of filled out there, and there's the one side. So Carolina's trip to the Metro Division postseason title. They defeated the New York Islanders 4-2. And then I don't know if they necessarily I mean, I don't think they necessarily, I mean, the season, the series score would say that they dominated New Jersey. A couple of the games went to overtime, and it was a couple of those games were close. And honestly, I mean, I thought New Jersey was, New Jersey, what was it? It was overtime in Game 4. That could have easily tied the series at 2, but it didn't. But Carolina won against New Jersey 4-1 to punch their ticket out of the Metropolitan Division into the Eastern Conference Final. Now we look at the Florida Panthers. This is the more unlikely type of matchup, because the Florida Panthers, number 2 wild card, technically a number 4 seed in the Atlantic Division, number 2 wild card, which in the 1 versus 8 format means number 8 seed. They went up against the heavily favored 65-win, 135-point regular season record-setting Boston Bruins. They go into that series. Nobody's thinking much of, they're not gonna hold up against Boston. I didn't think so. I had Boston beating them. I mean, if I remember, the video I did, which if you guys want to go back and look at my playoff prediction video right before the playoffs started, I believe I had Florida losing that series in 5 to the Boston Bruins. I had Boston just steamrolling them. Well, it was close. Boston was up 3-1, and that's, to me, I'm thinking, it's a good little run by Florida. Their little run's going to come to an end. Yeah, no, they had other ideas. They win Game 5, and then all of a sudden, they win Game 5. That was in overtime. Game 6, they came out and they kind of put a beating on the Bruins to force Game 7. And still, I think a lot of people are thinking, okay, come on, this is Boston. These guys won 65 games. They only lost 7 games on home ice all season long. There's no way they're going to lose Game 5 and Game 7 in their home building. No, they lost 3. They lost during the entire regular season. They lost 7 games total on home ice. They lost 3 of their 4 games on home ice against Florida, losing Game 7 in overtime to put the Panthers into the second round. Nobody expected that. I didn't. And then, of course, in the Atlantic Division final, as the number 4 seed, they go up against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Again, underdog. Nobody's thinking they're going to do much. Come on. Toronto finally breaks that, gets out of that rut. 19 years, finally getting out of the first round. Everybody in Toronto is just, they had already advanced against Tampa. So they're going into that 7th game against Boston and Florida, watching that, and they're all chanting, "We want Florida." I saw the videos from Maple Leaf Square. They're all chanting, "We want Florida! We want Florida!" Sometimes be careful what you wish for, because sometimes you just might get it. They got Florida. And Florida went into that series and basically said to the Toronto Maple Leafs, yeah, you're not. You may have gotten by our other float by the other team in Florida. You're not getting by us. And they didn't. The Florida Panthers, they just, with the exception of Game 4, that was the only game. Game 4 of this series was the only game that really Toronto looked good. I mean, and it's not like they didn't play well. I mean, they didn't get blown out really in any of these games. Florida just wanted it that. They just wanted it that much more. To me, they wanted it that much more than Toronto. And, I mean, they beat Toronto twice in overtime in the playoffs. Now, Toronto had gotten outplayed basically for a good majority of the Tampa series. But nobody really looked at that. I mean, why would you look at it? They won the games. So why would you look at how bad Toronto gets outplayed by Tampa? Because Toronto won those games. Toronto played pretty well in the series against Florida. I mean, they went to overtime. I mean, out of the 5 games, I think they went to overtime. Was it twice? Game 3, I think it was overtime. And Game 5 was overtime. I think that's right. Let me know in the comments section if you guys, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I didn't write those series scores down. Maybe I kind of should have. But I believe Game 3 and Game 5 went to overtime against Toronto. And Florida won them both. And so, Florida, I mean, the Florida Panthers. Now, I mean, obviously, I'm not necessarily wearing who I think will win. That's why I'm kind of wearing both. Because I'm good with either one. Whichever team wins, they're going to deserve it. And I'm going to enjoy it, whichever one it is. Because you have the Florida Panthers. They've never won the Stanley Cup. The Carolina Hurricanes, they have one Stanley Cup on their resume, and that was 2006. So one of those teams is going to get the chance to play for the Stanley Cup. Either it's going to be the Hurricanes, who are going to be playing for the Stanley Cup for the first time since 2006, or it's going to be the Florida Panthers, who are potentially going to be playing for the Stanley Cup for the first time since their 3rd season and my senior year in high school in 1996, and would be playing to win their first. Now, if the Panthers were to pull this off, big difference between this team and the team in 96. Big difference. This team, this year, so much better. So much better. And I'll tell you, 2012 LA King vibes I'm getting with these guys in the Florida Panthers right now. It's going to be an interesting matchup to see how they match up with Carolina. How is Carolina going to match up with them? The matchups are going to be fun. And both of these teams are going to get a little bit of a rest. Because the Western Conference, both of those series are currently 3-2. And in the case of Florida and Carolina, I don't think they would mind if both of those series in the West go all 7. I'm expecting at least one of them to go 7. I'm kind of hoping they both do. I mean, I say I'm kind of hoping. No, I hope they both go 7. I really do. Because those 4 teams in the West are fun. They're a lot of fun to watch. And, Vegas right now, I mean, nobody's really giving them a lot of, they're looking at, the matchup, they're playing Edmonton, they're playing Connor McDavid and them. Yeah, Vegas is a damn good team. And it wouldn't surprise me if Vegas comes out of the West. Wouldn't surprise me at all. So whoever comes out of the West, they're going to deserve to be there. I will do a video like this also when that is decided. And yeah, I'm hoping those 2 series in the West go all 7. And yeah, so for these guys, for the Carolina Panthers, Carolina Panthers, wow! The Carolina Hurricanes and the Florida Panthers. I'm mixing up football here. Oddly enough, because the football team in Carolina is called the Carolina Panthers. You can see how I got mixed up there for a second. But yeah, the Carolina Hurricanes and the Florida Panthers, they're going to be getting a little bit of a break. So if there's anybody there that've got, some nagging injuries or whatever, they've got some time to kind of heal up before their series starts. Obviously, we're not sure when that series is going to start. It depends on the other two in the West. But this is going to be a fun series, and I look forward to watching it. I wouldn't mind if it goes the distance. And, like I said, I'm not cheering for one or the other. I'm wearing both. So, may the best team win. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Who do you think wins? Who represents the Eastern Conference in the 2023 Stanley Cup Final? Is it the Carolina Hurricanes or is it the Florida Panthers? I'd love to know what you guys think about that. Let me know in the comments section below. Again, if this was your first time here, I'm very glad that you're here. If you enjoyed the videos, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and if you want to be notified of any time a new video comes up, hit that little bell. So do all those things. If you have not done that already, it would be greatly appreciated. Again, let me know who you guys think comes out of the East, and I will see you guys again real soon.